Hi lads and lasses, really excited today. Fantastic new product from BVD Darts. You may very well have seen the launch a couple of 3 days ago, something like that. I have got the exclusive first review of them. First time I've ever had an exclusive review on anything. But Brian sent me this surround and I've used it for a couple of days before I've done the review on it. The simple reason is I wanted to make sure that it was as good as I thought it was. And it really is. It's awesome. There's some really good key details to it. So let's go over and get that review going. Let's go over there right now. So here we are over in section 1, and what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the new BVD Lighted surround, whereas the old surrounds, like the old lights, used to be a surround light. So basically the light was separate from the surround and it stood a long way out. I'm sure if you've watched my videos before now, you'll have heard my opinions on the Corona lights, and I had one for a long time. Only really realised what an handicap it was when I was coaching people, doing people's practice routines and what have you. It actually did obscure your view of the board. So then we went to the 180 Lumina, which is the one that's up on the wall that you see every time I do some videoing. That will be staying up on the wall for the simple reason is it's a permanent fixture now. It's actually screwed to the wall, and I don't want to develop any holes and stuff like that. But let's get on to the main event, and that is this new lighted surround from BVD Darts. Absolutely awesome piece of kit. Like I say, I wanted to do a few experiments with it and what have you before I did the review, even though this is the first review you'll ever see of them. So I've got the blue one, so what we'll do is I'll pick it up and we can have a quick look and a close look at it now. Right, so this is the new BVD Dart surround. As you can imagine, it's very similar to a normal dart surround, apart from the fact that you've got some inbuilt LEDs. You can see them there. But what you can also see is look how slim it is. Compared to the Corona lights, which sit about 4 to 6 inches out from the light, from the actual board itself, around this sort of distance, the actual light is built into a ring in here, in the actual surround itself. If we come up a little bit closer, you can see that, and you can see where the lights are. I'll plug it in a minute and I'll show you how bright these lights are, and they are absolutely awesome, absolutely brilliant. Right, so before we actually turn the light on, there's something else that I want to explain to you, and it's a crucial part of this, and I think this is, again, it's the future. We've got a manufacturer, we've got a small darts company, BVD Darts, a small dart shop, that's come in and actually done what I've actually mentioned and suggested to several of the big boys. And the big boys are not interested. They've come out with these different lights and what have you, but they still come with the old-fashioned transformer. So every dartboard surround that you make, you've got to supply a transformer with it. And then, all around the world, you've got half a dozen different, or maybe probably 40 or 50 different types of electrical connection that you've got to do to get those light surrounds powered. Now, everybody, anything, so all you tablets, everything, use a transformer to charge them, so you only need one. A lot of people have got, like I've got sockets in the walls that have got USBs built into them. So, and they're universal right across the world. So this surround is a universal surround. It will go anywhere in the world, and more than that, which I'll explain to you in a... And what's it powered off? A USB. So this USB that comes with it is about 1.5 meters long. So it's about 1.5 meters long. So most people will need an extension. You can buy an extension off eBay for less than £2, and you can buy a great big extension off eBay for less than £5. So depending on where you want it in your room, doesn't matter where your plug is, then you can get a 10 or 15 or 20 metre extension for your thingy, your USB lead that's on this, so you can put it anywhere and you can plug it in anywhere. The next fantastic revelation, because it's got a USB on it, if you go on holiday and you go in a caravan, or you go in even in an hotel room, because we know what the thing is, travel lodges and places like that, they've hardly got any sockets. Doesn't matter, you can power this off a battery bank. I've played the other day for about 3 hours on this with a battery bank and the light was still perfectly bright as it was when I switched it on, and when I plugged the battery bank back in to charge it up, it had used 3/4 of the battery over 3 hours. So I reckon you get 4 to 5 hours out of this on a battery bank. On a decent one, obviously. If it's a very small capacity one, then you might get an hour or 2 hours. But again, if you're camping, if you're in an hotel room, if you're in a chalet at Bucklands at the UK Open, as long as you take your dartboard stand, your dartboard and one of these surrounds, you can play darts anywhere. So this is absolutely fantastic. Right, so what I'm going to use, and just pick this straight up off the side, it's the one that I use for my camera, which you're looking at me on, that I use for charging my camera up. So this proves to you how universal it is. All we've got is a Samsung, as you can see, off a finger, off a Samsung phone. Plug that into there, plug this into the socket, which is down here, like that. Plug this end into the actual USB extension, and there we go. Look at that. Let's make sure we've got the BVD bit at the bottom. Look at that, look how smart that is. And look how bright it is. Just look at the power of those lights. Absolutely fantastic. Right, so now what we'll do, now you've seen it there, I'll put it up on the board and we can have a look at it on the board. Right, so here we are over at the board. What we're going to do now is slip the actual surround onto the board, and you can see what it looks like as it actually goes on. And this is how easy it is. Straighten her up. There we go, jobs are good. It's on, and as you can see, no shadows. Works 100%, absolutely brilliant. The great thing with it and all is, on the instructions, as you'll see, there's 2 settings for it. You can sit it back against the wall, or you can bring it forward like this, and they call this the sports mode, because it sort of like brings the light a little bit further out and gives you a little bit better definition on the board. So basically, if you're practicing, shove it back to the wall. If you're playing a match or a tournament, fetch it forward a little bit. But it's great, you don't need anything, it just literally slips over any board. That's obviously, as you can see, is on the Mission Samurai 2. I've tried it on the Windmill Blade 5, which I've just bought 3 of them. I've just bought 3 of them to go into the prize draws. And the Unicorn, it fits on all of them. I've tried it on all of the different boards, and it fits every board, and it just fits like that. It just literally just slides over the top. The great thing with this, again, a bit like the Taurus, you're not interfered when you're taking the darts out. Look, you can see, I've got my arm. Look, there's no interference with you taking the darts out. So it works really, really well. Actual surround itself is made out of quite a tough foam. It is quite a tough foam. Now, I've not done the experiment yet, but what I'm going to do is, this is going to go on a long-term review now. So what I'll do over the first couple of weeks is I will deliberately throw some darts into this part here to see if I can fuse the LEDs. I don't believe it's possible, because the thickness of the actual surround between the moulding and the actual light itself, I think that is thick enough to take well over half a point, and that's before it gets anywhere near the LEDs. The LEDs are wrapped in plastic, so you've got another 2 or 3 mils there. So I think if throwing a dart and it going into it, it's not gonna breach it, and it's not gonna fuse the lights. Going down off the top, if you push your finger in, you can actually feel that the LEDs are covered by a shroud, so that will protect them from dropouts. If you have a dropout and it drops down here, the chances of it sticking in the LED might be 1 in a million, so I certainly wouldn't worry about that. Now, on a little bit further, a little bit more of an explanation, you'll have noticed while we've been doing the review, there's been a little bit of a video playing in the top corner. That is Brian's new shop, so it's just a little bit of a run through of Brian's new shop. And also, you'll see running now, I'll put it into a little bit of a bigger mode so you can see it a little bit better, but you'll be able to see the different colours, and not only that, the different prints that he's going to be doing on it. print. So the half print will be a certain amount of money, and then he's going to do a full sublimation print, which means that you can have photographs, images, all sorts of stuff, cartoon characters, whatever you want on your surround. And the stuff that he does on that level is just out of this world. The stuff that he does on the shirts for me, for my shirts and everything, are out of this world, and the dartboard surrounds are out of this world. And his thingy at the moment is compiling an hockey for me, so that thingy, that should be absolutely fantastic, and I'll do a review of that when it lands as well. Right, so that is the BVD lighted surround, and not a separate thing. It's brilliant. The way that it works is just, I'm bowled over with it. I really am, Brian. Thank you very much for sending it me, and thank you very much for allowing me to be the first and exclusive review of it. Right, so I hope you've enjoyed this, lads and lasses. I've really enjoyed doing this review. Get yourself over to BVD, all the links will be down here, so you can get hold of Brian, find out how much they are, how much the prints are. So it's up to yourself then. You can either buy the lights around, you can buy the lights around with a half print, or you can buy the lights around with a full print. So that's why I've not put the prices in or put them up on the screen, because obviously it depends on what you want of how much it's going to cost you. Right, so thanks for watching. Don't forget, lads and lasses, you'll only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in. And always, 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 totally okay.